So my last video was an introduction to how you can use Google Sheets to do maths problems. We looked at something pretty simple, just working out how to find the area and circumference of circles with different radii, but it allowed us to introduce concepts like how to enter data into columns in Google Sheets, how to fill down and repeat patterns, how to enter in formulae into cells, and how to use the multiplication and power operators. This example we're going to have a look at now will introduce some new concepts, how to use the division operator and how to enter in scientific numbers. So the idea here is that we have some data in this table where my cursor is now that shows the distance from the sun to some of the planets in the solar system. I didn't do them all because I think it'd take too long, but the distance to some of those planets. Now obviously the distance inside the solar system are enormous, so these numbers are expressed using scientific notation because they're so big, right? So what I want to do is enter these distance values into Google Sheets and learn how to enter in scientific numbers in Google Sheets. And secondly, use the speed of light in kilometers per hour, which is given here, and the formula time equals distance divided by speed, which you should be learning about in science right now, to work out the time it takes in hours for light to get from the sun to various planets in the solar system. So the first thing we need to do here is enter in these numbers, which are in scientific notation, into the column here. Now when we write in scientific numbers, as you can see in this table here, the way we do it is we write the abscissa, or the number out the front, like we would normally, but when we go to do the power part, times 10 to the power of 6, we do capital E, that just represents exponent, or times 10 to the power of, and then the exponent itself, which in this case here is 6, or in the second example here is -3. So we don't type out the whole scientific number, we just write the number out the front, E, and then the exponent. So if we were to go do that here, let's have a think. So Mercury is 5.8 times 10 to the power of 7, so I'll go 5.8 E7. Venus is 1.08 times 10 to the power of 8, so it'll be 1.08 E8. Earth is 1.5 times 10 to the power of 8, so 1.5 E8. 2.28 E8 for Mars. Jupiter is 7.78 E8. And then Neptune, obviously being a lot further out than any of those planets, is 4.5 times 10 to the power of 9, or 4.5 billion kilometers. So for that one, I'm going to write 4.5 E, and then it's times 10 to the power of 9, so I'll put 9 there. All right, so that's how you can enter in scientific numbers. It's a lot faster than writing it out the long way. And then if we want to do the time, well, we're going to enter in a formula. So as before, it needs to start with equals. We're going to go time equals distance divided by speed. So the first thing we need to do is click on the cell where the distance is. And then we go to do divide, because now we need to divide by the speed. So divide is a slash, which is next to the arrow keys. So I'm going to do my slash, and then the speed is 1.08 times 10 to the power of 9. So I'm going to type in 1.08 E8. Sorry, E9 rather, for the speed of light. Hit enter, and then fill down. Okay, now when we do that, because we used numbers that were in scientific notation to do our calculations, then that means the answer will be in scientific notation as well, which is fine if the numbers are either really big or really small, but it's a little bit redundant if your numbers are like just, regular sized numbers, which they kind of are in this case. So in this case here, rather than writing in scientific notation, it probably makes a little more sense to put in like regular numbers. So how do I change that? Well, I can highlight these cells. I can go to format, I can go to number, and I'll just put it as like a regular number. So you'll see it's taken those values there and changed them from scientific notation to regular numbers. And if I want to change it back, highlight them again, format, number, scientific, oops, and so on. Okay, so what we've seen here is we've seen how to enter numbers in using scientific notation and how to use the division sign. Okay, next video, which will be our last one, we'll look at relative versus absolute references, okay, which will make more sense once you get to the video. Okay, cheers.